frequently. With us tonight are Mary playing Elmania, the former Blue Dragonborn Bard, now Ravenfolk Bard Sorcerer. Nailed it. Jenny playing Galena, the Blue Dragonborn Monk, and Vera playing, nope, and Grace playing Vera. Wee! Grace playing Vera, the halfling crime grand boss mother.
I feel like we need to change our name now to Almost Always Accurate. I feel like that would be
That's a great name.
And together with, unfortunately, we don't have Beth tonight, but these three together with their friend Shoji, the former half-elf, former, oh my god, she was a necromancer, now obsidian-skinned, not really, doesn't really have a race, angelic avenger. Form the adventuring group coming to be known as Harp and Soul, formerly Happy Squad. When we last left our heroes, it was in the midst of action. You guys had just done your night raid on the council district to try and pick up Shoji's literal bug that she had left to gather information in Sam Vilhain's household. You gathered some intelligence, began to leave the council district by climbing down a rope over a 100-foot cliff, but were ambushed right as you were leaving by two of Sam Vilhain's knights, who roughed you up considerably and hurled Shoji and Vera off the cliff. You guys managed to get, I mean, you all made it to the ground, I guess we'll say. Only a couple of you were conscious, but you managed to save the rest before they actually died or drowned from the tidal wave that Callista pulled up from the river.
We stand.
Not Callista, sorry, Damia. Different tiefling cleric. You guys were then set upon by goblins as you tried to make it to the city wall. Galena stayed behind, hopefully to delay them, failed her stealth, got caught, but then zipped her way out because monks, you can't hit the bastards. However, just before Galena made it over the wall, she got hit by some kind of domination spell and decided to just kind of jog back right into the goblins, and Shoji, confused and unable to stop her, went along with her. The two ended up having a conversation with a bizarre creature that the goblins were carrying in a once fine but now faded and broken litter. A creature that looked kind of like a humanoid vulture, just long, wrinkly neck, vulture face, ancient-looking avian creature that began interrogating you about the conditions in the city. Wanted to know what the cult was up to, what the forces of the Red Goddess, what their intentions for the city were, how things were going. And after a little bit of conversation, after establishing that you guys were fighting against the forces of Seranavi, told you that when you find the source, you should unleash its power immediately, and if you do so, you can have all of its goblins. He'll just give them to you, and they'll do what you say. He declined to explain further. And the only other thing I think you got out of him was that his name is Aldun. At which point he simply let you guys go and went back to camping on the river with all of his goblins. You guys managed to get back over the wall into the city by causing quite an uproar with a lot of noise spells from Elmania and spectral figures swinging giant axes from Damia. But you guys managed to all get back into the city. You were attacked by spiders as you tried to make it back to safety, dispatched them really without a problem, and made it back to your hidey hole in the how am I forgetting the name of the district? The
Blacks.
There we go. In the slacks. You took a long rest. Most of you have been resisting the red harvest that you were recently infected with quite well, except for Galena, who has progressed to stage 2 of the disease. Callista goes through all of her, not Callista, why do I keep doing this? Damia goes through all of her normal morning ministrations, drains the blood tumors, wraps them tightly. But Galena is looking pretty run down. There's she has a persistent cough that occasionally speckles blood on her hand as she kind of tries to cover it. It is the morning of the 26th of contact. You've got about 4 days before the city is overrun by ghouls. What are you doing?
Question about stage 2 red harvest.
Yes.
Is it still recoverable from? That's terrible English, but you know what I mean.
I think you guys found it last time from your conversations, both with the Legion way back in Worcestershire and from what you heard in the Mayweather camp. Nobody recovers from stage 2. Nobody recovers naturally, and as far as anybody knows, there isn't a cure.
So she's past the point where she could fight it off.
Correct.
Well,
That seems
yeah.
just a little.
Well, we know someone who has the cure, which is allegedly Samvalhain, where we came from.
That is true. But how do we get Samvalhain to somehow cure someone? Or well, and that's the thing is, it's not Samvalhain who has the cure. At least Samvalhain probably knows somebody who can cure them. I think, unless there is like a liquid cure that we don't know about, it's probably somebody who knows some kind of magic who can cure the red harvest.
Or it's the red goddess herself. I mean, he channels her powers and she's the source, so he could request it of her.
He did refer to it as the red blessing. So it seems to be something that can be bestowed or withdrawn.
And if the red goddess is defeated, perhaps it will be lifted. I don't know, but we have 4 days until either she wins or she loses in this city. And, oh, by the way, Josh, did we ever go back to the kobolds?
You guys are tentatively scheduled to meet them tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. It seems to me we need more allies, and I think I might be just go about and start researching in whatever way I can this concept of the source that you two are speaking of.
Well, I was going to ask, you've been in this city longer than any of us. Does this ring a bell? Do you have any idea who we could talk to about this?
Hey, Josh, does this ring a bell?
Anybody native to Onisher can roll a history check.
Sweet. I'm not good at those, but I'm going to do it. Yep.
Should I? Oh, I guess I'm also, am I native? I am.
You are.
Native.
I had a moment of like, and you said history?
History, yeah.
Rated history, but 5 worse.
5 and a 6. Sounds like library work to you guys.
Yeah.
Where's my brother when I need him?
Do we have anybody in the compound who, I suppose besides Grady, but he's more of the magic type, who's more like a scholar type or a bookkeeper type who would know something like this?
Talia and her family were Talia and her father were members of the Scriveners Guild, and had plenty of contacts and involvement with the library.
Anybody in my organization?
Grady would have been the most bookish. Most of it involved trying to find, trying to find arcane things to increase his abilities.
And I have the suspicion that the source is something magical. If this magical creature man, because clearly he had magical powers because he dominated Galena. I assume this is an arcane thing. I could be mistaken. So could I send like a note in, because we can't go in, to Grady asking about this, and also maybe to Oth asking about the source in relation to Onashur, and also somebody named Aldoon.
Okay. So you're sending that to Grady and Oth. You want them to look into Aldoon
and the source in some relation to Onashur and perhaps the Red Goddess, but also just to Grady. Like, does he still have contacts who are library people? Does he know where any of those people might be at this point?
Okay. All right. So sending a message there. Is one of you taking it? Or are you all going, like, are you planning on like going there to do this, or just sending a note and pursuing something else?
I don't have other plans, so I might just wait outside the door. But Galena.
Yeah, I think I'll take the bark and maybe take it to a healer and see if we happen to get any bark that we needed.
Ash, yeah.
Any ash bark.
Don't make that face, Josh.
Which of these piles is ass? Okay. All right. So looking for a healer.
Or yes, or apothecary.
Okay.
We'd have somebody in the compound who might be that. So you can come with me and like we can.
I'm not sure I want to get near anyone in the compound.
Yes, we certainly won't go in, but
How
I don't want to leave you on your own.
What was that, Belmont?
Oh, how contagious is the red harvest? And how is it spread as far as we know?
As far as you know, it's spread through physical contact with those infected with it, especially by bodily fluids, especially by blood.
Okay. So as long as nobody touches her, she should be fine, right?
Wait, touches who?
Galena.
As long as nobody touches Galena, then those people should be fine.
They'll be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
In theory, yes. From what you saw, kind of when you were first coming through the district looking for the Mayweathers, and from what you saw when you were actually in there with them, they don't take a lot of chances. You saw nobody within the compound who was infected, and their leader, who was infected, was then quarantined and kept as secretly as possible, but nevertheless outside the perimeter.
Okay. Interesting.
But Galena, you can come with me. I mean, I'm infected as well. I can't go in, but I don't want to leave you on your own.
Okay. Does anyone have any hooded cloak I could wear?
I have random fabric. I can like make you something.
That would be great.
So I spend a few minutes making Galena like a cowl kind of thing. But so it looks cool, so she looks like Batman. Exactly. Slightly plague-ridden Batman.
Best image in my mind is just like Batman curled up like on the couch, like with too much, it's like the floor or something.
Oh dear. All right. Yeah, that's fine. You guys head through to the compound. Somebody give me a D12 roll.
I'll do it this time, I suppose.
I'm not rolling anything.
Like, make JG do it.
I'm not rolling. It's a new week. Come on.
Uh,
Oh, we can also next 20 healing.
I want my dice roll in the box. Come on. It's a 3.
You make it to the compound without incident. Send your messages in. I rolled history checks.
Did they all suck?
Grady. All right, so let's hit anything about the source first. Grady is able to tell you that there used to be wizard towers in Onisher centuries ago, probably before the Lich Wars. The Mage War, which was like 2 weeks, and then the Lich Wars, which were the next 500 or 600 years. So, almost 1,000 years ago, there were wizard towers in Onisher. It probably has something to do with that. Oth doesn't know anything. Not about any source in Onisher. Oth's knowledge comes from a little bit in the north, little bit in the borderlands. That's kind of his area of study. Grady doesn't know the name Aldoon other than just kind of not a normal, but not also an unheard of just name that you would name somebody. Oth has come across the name in borderland literature. He does not know or remember anything particular about it. Yeah, they rolled real bad.
Does Grady still have the other little piece? Does he still have any library contacts? Any second step that we can investigate?
Not contacts other than he knows a couple of people who work in the library.
Does he know where they are?
I mean, if the library is operating, then probably there. It's a bit like asking somebody who is friendly with their local librarian, what do they do on their weekends? I see them when I go look for a book.
Right. So he hasn't kept tabs on them during the apocalypse, though.
No.
They're not that close of friends. Okay.
No.
Do you mind telling me on the map, the dreaded map, where the library is?
I mind very much. I regret ever giving you a map.
Where the library is?
You would know where it is. The one that you know at all is the one in the Cataract District, the one that Talia spent most of her time at. You have a house in that district.
I do, which I haven't been back to.
No, you really
God knows what's there. And so I'm going to look at the Mayweather map here. So judging from our vague experience of the city so far, would that be a suicide mission to try and get to the library, or just a regular D12, who knows what we might encounter on the way to the library?
And you guys have walked through that neighborhood a couple of times so far.
Okay. So it's not particularly dangerous, but it's not safe either.
You know that it seems to be in the territory where you ran into the circle.
Great. Okay. Alrighty, then if Galena is willing, and if the rest of the party is willing, I'd say we could go to the library and see if there's any text there, especially if these are ancient wizard towers. If there are ancient archives that show maps of the city from ancient times, we might at least get some sort of location. And the library is all I could think of.
Sounds reasonable to me.
I forget, Almanya, are you with us? Or
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're together. So what time of day is it? Was this morning?
Yeah. I would say late morning, early afternoon, because you guys were out and active until around 3 or 4 in the morning last night.
Cool.
No.
If you want that full 8 hours, then you're pushing noon right now.
All
I
right.
feel like we have to stay together at this point because, like, I swan to John, if one of us leaves, like, for like more than 10 minutes, everyone will just die. Like, that's just
Yeah.
pretty much how this campaign goes. If anybody
Yeah.
leaves for anywhere longer than 10 minutes, everybody just like is in mortal peril. So like we should just never at this point.
Agreed. We'll become really codependent friends.
Yeah.
Does that mean we just generally assume Damia and Constantine are also with you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, what's up with Rin?
Yeah, what is she doing?
I don't know.
She can come with us too.
Yes, can we send a note and be like, Rin, if you're not doing anything,
Join
we're going
us.
to the library where there are some archives. And remind me, no, the archives she needs are in the council district.
Correct.
But if she's willing to blow cover, you might have to roll for her, or
Well, if the other lady from the Mindonithil really did go over to Samvalhin's side, then well, my cover is already blown. They know I'm not dead. So sure.
I know that's what I was worried about. But we could certainly use your skills and your help.
Okay. All right.
We got a rogue, guys.
Who is also a cleric.
Who's also a cleric.
All right. We got Karina and Shoji. Pull her up for me. Oh, you're kidding. It's fine. Hey guys, don't get into combat.
Oh, do tell why.
So that I don't have to run 4 NPCs.
If you want, I can take Rin. I sort of get rogues now.
That's
It's
true.
not as bad as new character Who Dis after playing this character for how long? I don't know. I still don't know how to rogue.
For people are like, do you want to run this character? And I go like, it's gonna take me like 15 minutes to run combat. Like, I'll have you know.
Be like, oh, spells.
How do wizards work? For like an hour. I will be the one.
All right. I mean, the choice is between like, you guys running characters you're unfamiliar with and combat going slow, or me running them and just making quick decisions, if not optimal ones. All right. So you've got your NPCs. You're heading out, and Galena, you've got your eye out for an apothecary as well. Almanya and Vera, you would know. I mean, there were also those in the Cataract district.
Right.
Is my house on the way, and is Talia's family home on the way?
You could look those up, yeah.
I mean, it's not like out of our way. I wouldn't go out of the way, but if I would stop by and like look.
You know what? Just roll a D100.
Sweet. Let me get this map out of the way.
Usually what I do is you guys are like, all right, we go to the apothecary, and then I say, okay, well, the apothecary's right there. Okay, done.
50.
They are on the way.
50. Okay. Let's
50-50.
all right. Do you guys do you all mind if I like just check and see what happened at my house? Because I booby trapped the heck out of that thing.
You did. I remember that. Yes, you totally should. You should
I
totally.
did booby trap it. So if it's clear, I might have some stuff in there.
I'm so fascinated to learn more about you, Vera. Yes,
Yeah.
show me your home.
Who regularly booby traps their home on their way out?
And this was also, I heavily booby trapped it because I was leaving the city too.
I'm gonna call that one because you did not plan on leaving the city until like an hour before you did.
That's true. But
guys,
my standard leaving the house though is pretty booby trapped.
Yes. and this has been established.
I don't trust a lot of people.
I just still am so. What an insanely violent world you all live in.
And you don't live in this world?
Well, the mountain was very
I've
cool.
lived on a mountain in the middle of the sea.
That's true, I guess. But
It was awesome.
It was beautiful. It was peaceful, and I never even saw a booby trap.
Can we have that on the t-shirt too? I never even saw a booby trap.
it was beautiful and peaceful, and I never even saw a booby trap. I agree. I feel that. That's a very Jocasta mind.
I don't know, says Vera. I feel like if I retired to the island or retired to the mountain, or I don't know, all conflict was gone from the world, I shouldn't wonder if I might be bored. Just a little. Too much of a good thing. But not that I want a blood goddess ruling my city. There are limits to how much conflict I would prefer, as in to me not be bored. To clarify. I'm pretty sure that Dami is like glaring at me right now too.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a note from way back.
It has been a very long time since.
Episode.
Yeah. If you need a date, I have all the dates of the episodes.
No, I need a name.
Oh, wait, is it the little kid?
Yeah, wasn't his name something?
I have the little kid. Hang on, let me look.
I remember it was something very close to Cormier's name. It was like Cormrin.
Yeah, it was extremely frustrating that it was very close to Cormier's name. Hang on.
I did, but yeah.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Nope. Nope. Cormoran. He's
Cormoran.
a tiefling. Cormoran, and he's a tiefling.
Yeah, no, I remember that. There it is. Okay. Yeah, you find your house. You know where it is. You get to your house. You successfully navigate your way home.
Hey, this is Grace you're talking to. I probably couldn't do that. So
you give me a perception check.
cool. That's just perception. 13.
13. You pretty quickly notice that your booby traps have been changed.
Ah.
But are still active. It looks like some have been sprung and then reset slightly differently, not well.
Clever. Okay, can I see enough of them that I can navigate my way through and
Yeah,
disarm them?
If you just want to go through, yeah.
Yeah. Can I just disarm them all and like knock on the door like a normal person?
Do you do
Wait,
normal
do I have my key? Do I still have my house keys?
Probably not.
I know. I feel like
How many times have you guys
lost
just
my kit.
lost all of your equipment?
yeah.
A lot. I'm
Oh
sure.
wait, but
on-
I put a house key under a rock on the porch. Like every homeowner.
Okay. you tell me, Grace, and I'll take your word for it. Is that really something Vera would do?
She would not put it on the porch, but it is in some completely weird spot and is so heavily booby trapped. Like instant death if anybody touches it without knowing exactly where it is.
Roll a D100.
73.
Okay. The key is gone.
Stupid little cormorant. I knock on the door like a normal person.
You
However,
knock-
I tell everybody else to like do the thing where like the cops are knocking on the door and everyone else is lined up to like attack. Yeah, like
just
that.
on the side.
With like the ram to enter a door. Yeah.
Okay.
NYPD. Yeah, like that.
You've got like Galena, Elmania, Damia, and then Constantine is like standing in the garden off to the left because the porch isn't big enough.
Yeah. But be on the alert in case this is like spiders.
Okay. You knock on the door like a normal person. No response.
Hello. And do I hear any like noise on the inside? I'm gonna put my ear up to it.
Roll a perception check.
Cool. 24.
Damn.
Yeah.
You do not.
Pick my own lock.
You pick your own lock.
I was say she had better know how to pick her own lock.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that one to you. You pick your own lock, and the door just kind of swings open. You look in. It's very dim inside. All of the curtains are drawn, and it is difficult to see. If you pop your goggles down and it's fine. Everything looks dusty, but there are definitely tracks through the dust all over the place.
Are they the same persons or like multiple people or like a crowd?
You would have to examine them in order to determine that.
I will examine them in order to determine that.
Okay. As you step through the doorway, you feel a slight resistance against your ankle.
I immediately jump back.
And you hear from multiple locations in the house, like pots and pans just slamming together. And I need a dexterity saving throw.
Please tell me that the kobolds took over your house.
Yes, please. Either that or it's this clever little kid who I now respect very much.
Part of the family.
You tried to kill me. I respect that.
I respect that.
Wait a minute. I forget what I have. I wasn't sneaking. Yeah, I wasn't sneaking. So 11.
11? Okay. You managed to dodge out of the way as it looks like just like a wooden slat with just a dagger jammed through it had been bent back and tripping the wire just released it and it just went right at your here's the odd thing, basically right at your sternum level.
So low.
Yeah, the board would have slammed into a larger person's shins, but either the blade was aimed to kill someone about your height or get somebody in the crotch.
Either way, I respect whoever did this. If it's this kid.
Can I ask how big is everything in this house? Am I fitting okay?
I mean, it's not great, but yes, the house when it was built was not proportioned for halflings.
Okay.
The furniture is.
It is a small house. Yeah, the furniture is. The furniture is all proportioned for halflings.
That's amazing. I like, so when we go inside, are we kind of like, are there just like little chairs? Are we just kind of like stepping over like little chairs? I mean, I'm not that tall. Well, actually, I don't know how tall I am now that I'm a bird. I wasn't super tall when I was a dragonborn, but I'm curious now.
But also, like, Vera cultivated the like sweet little country cottage grandma interior. So there are like little china figures, like precious moments figures around. So yes, now covered in dust.
Please, yeah.
Exactly.
As you guys kind of carefully walk around the lower level, there are no other traps that you trigger. Plenty that you see, but none of them. All of them are triggered Like for instance, there are tripwires laid flat across the ground. There is no way that you, like, unless you were scuffing your toes across the ground, there's no way that you would actually trip them. There are plenty of others on some, like, cabinets. It looks like opening a cabinet would spring something. Most of them are fairly mundane, like the dagger. Others are Hira, give me a perception check. Yeah. Oh, and Shoji's here.
25.
Some of these are definitely, like, the blades are definitely laced with everything from excrement to actual concocted poisons.
Can I take one of them poison ones? That's awesome.
Do you have something to keep it in? It's an exposed blade with.
Oh, it's not like a poison dagger or anything?
No, like it is not a magically poisoned dagger. It is a dagger with a poisonous liquid.
Okay. I'll leave it. I don't have an extra sheath for it. Can I just, like, have I heard anything besides the clanging pots and pans, as in any startled panic, a cry, footsteps?
Nope.
And I'm just going to call up through the house. I respect the hustle immensely. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just here to pick something up.
We're greeted with silence.
Okay. Can I go to what would have been my bedroom? And I'm just going to assume, and this might just be in my head roleplay, that I've got the equivalent of family photo album. I assume they're more like paintings
Woodcuts.
or something. Woodcuts.
Well, you guys probably could have afforded paintings.
Paintings, woodcuts. Probably the early ones are woodcuts from back when we were poor, when it's like just me and Gideon, and then they get like fancier.
Okay.
And
there is a history of increasing wealth of family portraits.
yes, and I got them all like in a scrapbook or an album, and I want to take that.
That's so cute. Can I kind of do some snooping around to see if I can find anything alive in this place?
Yeah, snoop around.
Yeah. I want to do some snooping.
Roll an investigation check.
Okay. Ah, combat tracker. That's not what I wanted to click. Investigation.
Oh, it's going to be like that then. All right.
Why?
Family album in my inventory.
Why is everything I roll like outside of the box, and then I re-roll it and it's terrible, and I don't understand what's happening?
Elmania, you find nothing kind of on this level. There's a staircase that goes up to a small level on top.
Okay.
And as you kind of start to go up the stairs, there is a lot of stuff in the way. It initially looks like it was just a bunch of stuff kind of pitched down the stairs. It's not until you kind of casually move something aside that you realize that all of it is balanced and stacked very carefully to come crashing down on you. I need a dexterity saving throw.
God damn it. Okay. Well, at least I have advantage, or not advantage, proficiency on dexterity saving throws. Why am I rolling so terribly tonight?
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Fuck.
It's because you took all my good rolls last week, Mary.
I had so many good rolls last week that now I just can't.
It would have been more, but it's halfling furniture.
Okay, I'll take that. That's yeah. That's
So you managed to just like shoulder your way through things falling and crashing into you. You kind of frustratedly just eventually just knock and tear your way through it. make it up to the top. Bright blue raven folk. There's just 2 rooms at the top. The stairs just kind of come to a T intersection. The smell up here is odd. It's a little musty, undercut with some kind of really sweet smell, possibly rot. You're not sure.
Okay.
Weed.
As you look through the 2 rooms, there is an open window. There is also piles and piles of bones. You recognize several kobold skulls among them. There is also evidence of fires being made up here. There's kind of like a large pot, looks like it's been fashioned into basically just like a fire pit. And there are dried strips of kobold meat like hanging from the ceiling. Somebody has been killing and eating kobolds up here.
Well, that's just kind of terrifying.
Especially because kobolds are the best.
I know.
Just saying.
Well, I was going to ask if I could try and sneak into the kitchen on this level, but do I want to now?
Yeah, the kitchen looks primarily like mostly unused. All dishes, pots and pans, etc., have been taken, and you guys find where they were stacked and are now just like scattered all over the place. There were like four areas where those were stacked, and you can trace like trip wires to several of the, well, to each of the doors, and to several locations. Several of those trip wires that just run flat on the ground.
May I do one last investigation check to find my favorite spatula? Because everybody has a favorite spatula, and I need mine back.
I mean, that you're not wrong. Everybody does
Roll
that.
an investigation check.
Good. I'd like this is the 2 things that Vera wants out of this house. I want my family album, and I want my spatula. 6. I don't find my favorite spatula. It's broken.
Tragic.
You do not find your favorite spatula.
Now, do you have a favorite kettle? Can you like find a favorite kettle?
Well, I'm afraid I was only really emotionally attached to the spatula.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's fair, I understand.
Okay.
But I got the more important thing.
There's a book that I read in homeschool with my siblings called Red Sails to Capri. And in it, there's an entire rant from an old Italian woman who's very angry that somebody dented her kettle. And she goes in this long rant about kettles and how like kettles, like you have to be like emotionally attached to your kettle and like take care of your kettle. And this guy is like, it's okay, I'll buy you a new one. She's like, no, you do not understand. You can't replace your kettle. And so I in my mind, Vera is just an old Italian lady who is just wildly attached to like all her utensils and things like that. And she's like, you don't understand.
I am a mafia mom.
The very first quest that I completed in The Witcher 3 was some lady was pissed at a guy for using all of the like seasoning from her cast iron skillet, and I didn't get it. I was like, this is a dumb quest. And then I got married.
Is it?
And then I got married and went back and ended up playing the game again. And it was like, oh, that heartless bastard.
Now you get it.
Out of my cast iron.
It was delightful.
It's great once you actually know what that means. When you go back, you're like, oh, I understand completely, ma'am.
Vera, I forgot. Okay, you guys have kind of searched the house head to toe. You found all of these strange things. Vera, your spatula, broken or whole, is nowhere to be found. Somebody's been killing and eating kobolds up here.
With my spatula.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to do here before moving on?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay.
No,
I always felt weird. I always felt weird here anyway, because it's like being put in the retirement home where like this is where I was sidelined. So I'm kind of happy that it's like in ruins. This is like me going back and burning down the retirement home.
Wow.
That's
I do not like this place.
This is the place that Gideon always dreamed of.
Not me.
So okay, so cool. So is this like the place that you moved because it's what Gideon always wanted, and then like his death, and you left kind of the like active work in the family, and you moved here and like because it's what he wanted, but still you were just not
I always kind of imagined it that he died before either of us retired. Like he never retired.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was kind of like his dream, but he didn't buy this house or build this house.
Right.
It was my sons got the house and kind of said, "Mom, go into this house. We've got it." Like,
okay.
And so it's kind of, I don't particularly like, if it were actually a house that Gideon built and somewhere where we live together, yes, it would mean quite a lot. But it's like your husband died and here's your little retirement home.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't like it.
Okay, you guys married.
Well, this like that's just not where I thought this was gonna go.
I know.
I don't know why I started that sentence with an I. You guys continue down the street. A couple of the apothecaries, Vera, that you are familiar with in the area are gutted by fire. One of them looks like it was boarded up before it was set on fire. The other one just looks like some fire started inside and just tore it down.
Right. Is Talia's mom's surgery somewhere here? Because I'll tell you what I'm looking for.
That's on the upper level of Talia's house.
Oh, okay. Because so there's no chance of any like books or any medical text to still be in there.
You guys want to search through the apothecaries?
Yeah, because I'm also looking for like, do we have a book that identifies ash bark? Do we have a, medical text?
You may each roll an investigation check as you search through these houses.
Nice. Please. Come on. 16, not bad
Hey.
for a first today.
That's almost the highest roll today.
I'll take it at this point.
The highest rolls today came from not the party. Okay.
Surprised? No.
You guys do not find any books. Almania, you find a number of glass vials whose contents have essentially been boiled into uselessness, and they're just like caked inside the glass, but you have a bunch of bottles that if you could clean out could be refilled and used with other liquids. So you have 16 of those.
16? Nice. I'll put them into Jeeves.
Yeah. The rest that you find in there, it looks like most of all of the like leather bottles were just burned up. All of the other glass ones, their contents boiled and shattered. But yeah, no books. The third apothecary that you guys hit is not one that, Vera, you've ever been to. It's the kind of place that you might expect to see in the Slacks, actually. It's a little bit run down. It doesn't have a name. It just kind of has a sign with just like a beaker with some kind of mist floating out of it. No glass in the windows. They're all just covered with some kind of cloth or leather. And the door is closed.
No sign of damage on the outside?
No sign of damage. Lots of signs of wear, but no damage.
I'll knock again, like a respectful customer.
Okay. The door just kind of opens a little bit.
I'll go in. I might like gesture to maybe like Damia and Constantine and Rin to stay out. Like, come back in if there's trouble.
Okay.
Essentially, like if you hear me shout.
Constantine goes, "Oh yeah, I'll know this job." And he stands like right next to the door and just starts glaring threateningly outwards.
I love him.
Our man.
We stand.
Okay, so who's going in?
I'll go in.
Okay, just the three of you guys. Okay.
Mhm.
You guys go in. Shelves and shelves and shelves. Many of them empty. Other ones with just like small clusters of glass and leather bottles. No kind of order. No labeling at all. Looks actually like several of them were salvaged similarly to the ones that Almania has. They've got like scorch marks on the outside. And there is a desk kind of in the back, like a bar that goes across. Shelves behind it, some things, some bottles scattered across there. It kind of looks like a once full alchemy shop, now just like almost no inventory remaining. There is what looks like a ledger on the bar in front, and then there's a darkened doorway that heads into the back. Vera, you can see. Actually, if you like put down your dark vision goggles, you can see light playing on a couple of places on the wall back there, as if sunlight is hitting some kind of glass and scattering across the shadows.
I'll just call, hello, customers.
You hear like the clinking of glass in the back, and then a small hunched form comes like scuttling to the front of the ledger. Big, well, certainly big for Vera. A large-ish, like human-sized man comes out, but so hunched over that he loses about not 6 feet. Grief. It's called laying down, Josh. Loses like 8 to 12 inches of height just from how hunched over he is. Doesn't look like, right, there's no physical abnormality, just the posture is super hunched over. Hurries over to the desk. Customers.
Yes.
Not something I've had in a while. What do you want?
My friend here, and I point at Galena, has.
I put up my finger.
I'm trying to pick up that.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to interrupt. I want to ask really quick. Do you know anything of plants?
Yes, I know how to turn them into liquid.
Can you tell plants apart before they're liquefied?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
The cadence is very Christopher Walken, and yet the accent has like a twang to it, and I can't quite pick it out.
I'm getting Russian vibes off of him, actually.
That's because this is a voice that just like popped out during a funnel that JM was running earlier this week, and I was like, well, they're looking for an apothecary, so sure.
It's vaguely Russian.
He might die next Wednesday, I don't know, but I wanted to preserve him in this world because I enjoyed playing him.
Excellent. I just wanted to say it just sounded like the tone was just like, wow, that's kind of Christopher Walken-esque in cadence, but I have no idea what the rest of it is.
I genuinely don't know what it is.
It's Russian Christopher Walken, and it's great.
So do you have the plans, or you want me to get you some? I don't have any, but I can find some.
Do I have any plants that I know what they are? I did not really think. What?
Oh, are you asking if you currently are in possession of them, or
yeah, I'm trying to like in Jeeves or anything. I want to think of something that we might know what it is and pull it out.
I have a potion of like poison resistance. I have like a potion of thunder resistance. I have
like plant matter.
Let me. You could just show it to him, and like I'll just be watching him for insight. Like, is he trying to be like totally making it up, or does he actually know?
The only like semi-organic thing I have in there is my flail snail shells, and that's it. But nothing plant-wise except for all of our plants, which I need to make a note of in Jeeves. All the bark ever is what I have.
I feel like I put that somewhere, like 10 minutes of all the bark ever. Yeah, that works.
I'm on you. Can I have some of the snail shells?
What? Why?
Snail shells. I just want them.
And I pull out the smallest piece that I can get of it because all of them are huge, but I'll try and pull out the smallest piece.
Grace, you said you were trying to insight check him?
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
21.
Okay. Nope, that doesn't work. Yeah, he's he doesn't know jack shit about plants. that just lying out his ass.
Good to know.
I still.
Yeah, you don't know this yet. Galena, as you get the snail or as you ask Almania for the snail shells, I don't do the snails.
Oh,
so he does know snails.
He knows that it's flail snail. Like, that's a big snail. Like, I feel like if you looked at a chunk of this kind of shell, and like I pull it out and it's all shimmery and rainbowy, I feel like very few people would look at that and go, ah, yes, snail. So there's something.
Yes, I know lots about the flail snail. I've seen many in my life.
You've seen many flail snails in your life?
Many flail snails.
Awesome. Great. I take the piece back and I shove it back in my bag.
Ignore the shadow gate.
I'm kind of shocked that he knew what it was.
You want the potions? Yes, I have potions. What are you looking for?
What do you have?
I've got all kinds of things.
Healing things?
Yes, I have the healing potions.
And it's like, tap water mixed with green food coloring. Do show us one of your potions of healing.
Yes, that's these ones. He like turns around, goes to a few different places on the shelf, grabs an armful, and just like spills them across the counter in front of you and starts setting them up. A variety of orange to red colored potions in glass, and then a number of leather ones as well that you can't see through.
I lean over to Galena and I'm like, Total snake oil.
I don't do the snakes either.
Snakes, snails, what's the difference?
There's a big difference. One is long and slimy, and the other one is round and slimy. What are you paying with? Gold is not so good anymore.
You know, I'm frankly impressed that you're still open. I mean, how have you survived?
Mostly the smell. People don't like to come close.
Does he smell bad?
It's not pleasant.
Well, I suppose yes. A protective camouflage is excellent. And you've managed to keep a business running, which again I respect. But I think at the moment we're actually set for potions.
There's a ghost in my house right now.
Just straight up opened again. That was great.
I know.
It's all right. Howl's
And a
come to
massive gust of wind. All right. Can you guys hear the wind? No? Okay, good. We're all set then. So you don't want the potions, then why are you here?
Sir, you are taking advantage of people in a city that is about to be gone in 4 days.
What do you mean it's going to be gone?
It's going to be gone at the next red moon. I suggest that you prepare yourself for your imminent demise or think of something to do about it.
I'm trying to get rid of all this magnificent inventory that you see around you.
What do you think your person's out of?
That is a secret. I cannot reveal the guild's secrets.
Well, pretty sure the FDA insists that ingredients are clearly put.
You cannot scare me with your fide. That guy's a jerk. Are you buying the potion or not?
No,
The
sir.
Fairy Drug Association, is that what we're gonna call it? It's the Fairy Drug
The
Association.
Fairy Drug Association. Yeah. Good.
Is that Fairy Drug Association or Fairy Drug Association?
Fairy
Oh.
Drug Association. Like the fairies are the feds. The fae are the feds.
What a terrible, terrible world that would be.
Fairies equal feds.
The worst cops. Let's be real.
So are you buying something, and with what? Or are you done insulting me and my magnificent inventory?
I think we're done here, but again, 4 days. I recommend you batten down the hatches.
My store doesn't have the hatches, but I will look for some.
I want to put them down anyway.
I say, well, good luck. And I'll turn around and leave.
Please recommend me to all of your friends. I have lots of potions for them.
After Vera leaves, I just want to ask him, do you know, I mean, you said there's a guild. Are there other people who, snails, but other people who know plants? Maybe even more than you do.
I don't really know anybody else in the guild. They make sure my products are high quality, and I pay them, and they make sure I am competitive.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely pass your name along.
Grace, you're muted, by the way.
I know.
All right, thank
I
you.
also leave.
Are you sure you don't want anything? Perhaps just a sample.
A sample? What?
Yes,
I come back.
You come back.
You say you're giving away free samples?
I did not say free. I said sample.
Oh, I, of what?
Well, what sort of thing is hi? You somewhere.
Special
Your
guest.
animal is beautiful.
Oh, she's so pretty.
She involved in making your potions.
Yes.
Cat sits on the counter. No, I don't know where she came from. Throws the cat behind the bar. What sort of problems are you having?
The red sickness, maybe. If a friend has something similar to it, and boils and ghoulishness coming, do you deal with that?
I do not distribute the red harvest, but I can give you something to make you feel better.
Does it cure it?
It might, yes.
Can I insight check him?
Roll an insight check.
I love how you're like, I have a friend with it. Meanwhile, you have like bleeding tumors.
I want a cowl and a robe.
Yeah, no,
I covered myself for a reason.
fairly well covered up, and then this morning the tumors were reduced and then wrapped tightly. So
15.
15. He genuinely hopes that it'll cure it.
Have you ever seen anyone be helped by this before?
Absolutely.
I would like to insight check him.
We'll carry the same. Excuse me. The same insight check.
Okay.
This interaction would have had a little bit more mystery in it had he not rolled a natural 1 at the beginning, trying to deceive Vera and just carrying that through. Oh, many people. Yes, lots of them. My cousin, a friend of his. The words, but not of the red harvest.
Well, if you haven't actually tried it on someone with the red harvest, then I don't want to be a guinea pig.
All right, well, if you know anybody else who has it, send them by. Experimentation is key.
I mean, he is right about that.
Are there guinea pigs in your world?
What a fantastic question.
I was about to say, like, what's a guinea pig? But maybe there are.
It's probably not called a guinea pig, but sure.
Yeah, a rodent upon whom magic is tested unethically.
Obviously, it's the flail snails, but you know.
Yes, recommend me to all of your friends and your family, especially if they have the red harvest. We'll get there.
How much are you charging for this?
Depends on what you have.
I have
Like I said,
nothing.
the gold-
I come from an aesthetic place where I have sworn off all worldly possessions. I have my goodwill.
How about the food?
How much?
I don't know, a couple of days.
I can't afford. I can give you
How
like
about like a day?
I can give you one ration of bread.
I've been just drinking liquids for the past several months.
Just your
Not
potions?
pleasant.
I have one ration of dry bread.
I'll give you the cure for the loaf of bread.
At this point, I just feel awful for him. Here's the bread.
Success. And he pushes a one of the jars towards you, gathers up the rest, puts them on the shelf, takes the bread, and goes into the back room.
No, you can't get fooled by shopkeepers with a sob story, Glenna. Don't be that
He
person.
looked hungry. I come out. He looked hungry. At this point, I would have just given him food. People are suffering.
You
like-
are
This though.
you are too good for this city. Because
even-
frankly, that happened before the apocalypse.
There's nothing else we can experiment with this. We have something, whereas we had nothing. It's pretty shady. But I don't know how to make potions. So we have something to work with.
worth an examination. I wouldn't drink it right off the bat
Oh,
without
no.
a little analysis.
I'm trusting, but not stupid.
Alrighty. So I love how these have been 2 side quests.
Okay.
Shall we go to the main mission?
Remind me what the main mission was.
We're going to the library to research the source. We're being bad video game players.
All right. You are going to the Nolmemar.
Spell that for me.
Nolmemar.
That's just mean.
I didn't
No one
write
should
it.
have that many M's in a row.
You said it one more time, Josh. I'm trying to
I
type it
didn't
out.
write this.
Yes. Do you one more
Jenny-
time?
Jenny was like, "Yeah, I'm creating I'm creating a wizard who spends all of her time in the library, and she's part of the Scriveners Guild." And then she made a library for me and called it the Nolmemar.
So Jenny, this is on you.
Time for me.
Too many M's. Jenny Lawrence.
Mary, what were you saying?
I said, can you spell it for me one more time?
Oh, Nol. I could just type it into the chat down here. That'd be
Also could be helpful, yes.
Nolmemar. There we go.
Nolmemar. Is it called the Nolmemar Library or the Library of Nolmemar? Or
It just is the Nolmemar.
I don't recognize any language roots of that, so
It's basically the only non. Here's how libraries work. For the most part, in your guys' experience, a few people might have a book. There might be a library with some books. Other than that, like nobles and the very, very rich have private libraries with more books, and probably more important and accurate ones. So in Onisher, this is one of the few places where most people could acquire reading materials.
okay.
You guys find it large-ish building, certainly larger than a lot of houses, but a very straightforward block. It's kind of a block building, and the doors are missing. You can see where the hinges used to attach to it, to kind of the stone of the doorway itself, but the doors themselves, as well as the hinges, are missing.
Probably burned for wood. Does there appear to be anybody inside near the front?
Not that you can see from the street.
I will very cautiously approach, perhaps even stealth.
Roll a stealth check.
And can I be watching for traps?
Sure. So give me a stealth and then an investigation check. What are the other two doing?
Where's my stealth con?
I'll probably also sneak around. I'll also stealth.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. Stealth from you two.
Natural 20 for stealth library.
All right.
How the angry library ghost can't get angry at me because I am perfectly silent.
Oh,
I have a 26.
nat 20 on
Ooh.
my investigation.
There they are. We're saving the rolls for the main quest of this episode.
Library.
Which is the library, which is pretty funny.
Okay, amazing. You managed to You are fairly certain that you guys are making no noise whatsoever. As you go into the dark interior, Almanya and Vera, you both have dark vision. Galena, do you? Nothing? Okay. So it's not dark in here, but it is fairly dim. A lot of the windows are actually quite large. You guys creep in, and there's a few small tables here and there. There are like marks in the dust where it looks like bookshelves once stood. Most of them are gone. There are a few bookshelves remaining, but they are kind of broken, cracked, lying on the ground. There's scraps of paper here and there. And just a few damaged-looking books in various places. The vast majority of what was clearly once here is completely gone. There are stairs at the back and kind of off to the right. Sorry, that's two separate staircases. One at the back and then one a little bit off the right that look like there's like a small spiral staircase that heads up in each location.
Can I expand that Nat 20 investigation to looking for people who might be in here?
The Nat 20 is specifically to look for traps. There are no traps here. You are 100% confident that this floor is completely clear. It looks like it's mostly just been abandoned.
Cool. Then I will roll whatever else to roll. I'm looking for people since I don't think the records will be here anymore.
Okay,
The
give me a
people who might
perception.
have read something. Perception?
Perception. Okay. Galena, what are you doing?
Ooh. 28.
I know it looks like most things are gone. Can I try and see if there's anything that looks like it might be helpful among what's left?
Give me investigation. And Almanya, what are you doing?
I'd love to see if there are like any hidden areas around where some weird books might have been stowed, or something like odd little niches, or something, like weird libraries always have cool, like little funky places where you're like, books shouldn't really exist there, but like I'm down, like I want to see if there's anything like that, or some like random library cards where people like put their books that were meant to be shelved back but haven't been shelved back and weren't taken because ghost librarians. I'm just curious. I want to know what weird stuff goes on in this library. But yeah, I want to see if there's like anything kind of hidden and sneaky.
Almanya, roll investigation.
Sneaky. Not good at investigation, but let's look instead. That's 12.
12. Okay.
I also got a 12.
Okay. Vera, you do not see any people, and you do not hear any kind of activity. Galena and Almanya. Galena, you kind of go around, pick up those books that are remaining. Their covers, like whatever was binding them, are gone, and it's just kind of masses of the pages themselves. The quality of the pages is actually quite nice. This is actually some sort of like actual paper or papyrus rather than any like vellum. So you find that nothing terribly informative or useful. Almanya, you find a skeleton tucked behind a desk. Kind of a desk off to the side. There's the skeleton that is wearing the robes of one of the keepers here, and they have a crowbar about a foot away from their hand. Looking around in this area, you don't find any like any little niches or secret nooks or crannies.
Okay. Interesting. Can I investigate the skeleton?
Yeah, it's it appears female, probably human, possibly orc. You're not sure. If you give me just a straight intelligence check.
Okay. That's a natural one. I'm dumb as hell.
Seems kind of familiar, but you can't quite place.
Like the skeleton seems to
Yeah.
like the person who was the skeleton.
No, but like the robes and the decorations on the robes and whatnot, and kind of the diminutive size of the skeleton, kind of a picture is it evokes a picture of someone in your mind, but you can't quite place a name to her.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. All right. Great.
Amanya, did you like call any of us over or point this out to us?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Sure.
You know, it wasn't like a secret. I wasn't like
Yeah.
sneaking around. But yeah.
So you say there's like a crowbar a few inches from her hand.
Mhm.
Was she killed with the crowbar or was she holding it?
I was about to say, is there
She
any
died.
like can I tell like any kind of struggle or sign of death or anything?
D&D CSI.
Miami.
CSI on a sure.
So my apologies. Let me retract something real quick. The skeleton is of a gnome or halfling.
Oh.
So quite diminutive.
Do I know any gnomes or halflings who worked at the library? I'm kind of in on the halfling mafia.
I wonder if
Halfling mafia and halfling librarian don't really operate in the same spheres.
I'm in on the halfling community.
I wonder if I recognize them from my many library dates with my little brother. I probably recognize them.
Yeah, no, like, what I'm saying is like an image comes into your mind, but not a name.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
And Vera, it does not look like she was killed with it. Definitely some broken bones that I mean, she was killed, it seems. Either beaten or stabbed with something. There's broken ribs and scoring along some of her bones. Does not look like anything that would be done with a crowbar. If anything, she might have been trying to defend herself with the crowbar. You're not sure.
How old is a skeleton? Skeletons take a while to get down to like skeleton form.
I mean, it's not like pure white, cleaned bones. But more than simple weathering and age have rendered the body. There have been scavengers.
Okay.
So I guess my brain went to seeing her holding a crowbar, like she wasn't caught in the act of trying to open something.
It does not appear so, no.
Okay. Then I'll try and snoop for more intact books. Whatever is left.
There doesn't seem to be anything on this level.
Yeah, I'll go back up to the second level.
But yeah, if as you guys kind of head up the stairs, it looks like an attic that has been transformed into living spaces for 5 people. You see like evidence of like beds that have been broken or removed. There's like scraps of blanket. There's a bunch of trash. It looks like there are a couple of places where some small critter had built a nest, at least for a while. People had lived up here for a while. There is, we'll just say, refuse scattered over a portion of it. No other bodies. But Almanya, give me one more perception check here.
Oh, okay. 15.
15. You do find a part of the floorboards that are oddly scratched, and like the scratch kind of runs perpendicular to kind of the board itself, but then ends right at the crack between it and the next board.
Huh. Interesting. I would like to go and look at that then.
You're looking at that.
Am I just like on top of it? Okay, so it's like, can I like see if the floor comes up, like if there's a panel there or something like that?
Roll investigation.
I'm bad at investigation. 15.
Nice. This is almost certainly looks like a mark that would be made by a crowbar.
Interesting.
Can I go get the one from downstairs and maybe hand it to Constantine and say, "Can you try and pry up this floor? Because I ain't gonna do it."
Is Constantine not bouncing outside the gutted library?
That was outside the apothecary.
I assumed you were following kind of the same pattern.
I can call him in.
It's once you kind of get the crowbar, it's really not difficult. So, but between you and Almanya, you just kind of fit it in between and pop it up, and that floorboard kind of pulls up, and then it looks like you can kind of fold a couple others aside, and underneath are 2 scrolls and a bound a bound book.
I hand the scrolls to Almanya. I don't know if he's a magical, but I'll take a look at this book, and I'll open the book and see what it is.
What languages do you read?
Draconic and Common. Neither of them very well. I learned how to read in adulthood, and it's not fabulous.
Could you roll just an intelligence check?
Well, I should do this with disadvantage because Veer really doesn't read well.
It's less about reading and more about identifying what.
Identifying. Okay. No idea.
Yep. You do not know what the script is here.
Can I show it to Galena and to the others? Be like, anybody know what this is? I don't read this or much.
I mean, I'll take a look at it too.
I'd love to look.
Almanya, you can roll. Jenny and Almanya. Sorry, Galena and Almanya. What languages do you guys speak?
Common.
I have Common and Dragonborn, and whatever Raven folk, I guess. But
okay, Almanya and Almanya, roll just a straight intelligence check. Then, Galena, I don't think you would have seen this.
Yeah, I'm curious. I was also, as a scholarly woman, aka when I went to Bard College, I might have seen some weird scripts, even things that I can't read. But I'm just curious. That's a 7, so probably don't recognize it. But I'm curious though if I like recognize the script. I may not know what it is, and I may not be able to read it. But I'm curious as if I can kind of go like, oh yeah, I've seen something like this before.
That's what this role was like. Do I recognize this? You've definitely seen it before, but you're not able to strongly associate it with anything in particular. It's not draconic, and it's not
magical about it.
About the book, no. Taking a look at the scrolls, Almanya, you do. I mean, they are arcane scrolls. These are definitely spell scrolls. You recognize star charts, equations, all kinds of geometry proofs worked out.
wizard stuff that bards
with
don't understand.
symbols. So definitely magical scrolls.
Awesome.
And the book, you're just not sure what it is.
Are any of them bard scrolls? Because if I remember anything about D&D magical spell scrolls, it's that you can't even read the scroll unless you're the right class. So I'm curious, are any of them scrolls that could be read by a bard? Do any of them have random musical notes that are just like doodled in the corner? I'd be like, aha, bard script.
There are no notes.
Rats. Great.
Words.
I definitely cannot. Okay, so these are magical, but they're not my type of magical. But we should definitely keep them, and I stuff them all inside of my bag.
True. I wonder if we might run at least this book by everyone else in the party who are bouncing outside, just in case. Especially, I mean, Damia, she's 300 years old, but this might be an ancient script she might have seen somewhere in her day. So can we show it to the rest of Team Harp and Soul?
Yeah. None of them. Oh, Karina immediately knows what the book is.
Oh. Good on us for bringing her in.
and she actually has a strong emotional reaction to it. The script is Dwarven, but the language is Gnomish. It does not really have a title, but it is a collection of reflections, writings, and eventually like revolutionary rhetoric from a gnome named Urimo. I will type that into the chat. Oops. There we go. Except my active window. By a gnome named Urimo. And it's a compilation of just kind of his experience as a gnome in the Combine, combined with reflections and philosophy, really a lot of philosophy of suffering, that eventually kind of turns into revolutionary rhetoric.
So this probably maybe belonged to our gnome librarian friend.
It looks like, yeah, these were important things that were quickly grabbed and stashed away as things were happening.
Cool. So can we essentially, is that everything in the library? Can we search it top to toe? Any more texts? Any more signs of hidden anything?
No, the library is pretty well picked clean. As a recognizable public building and like well-known location, you imagine it was probably one of the early ones.
Right. Would we know anywhere else in the city that would be a repository of city knowledge that is not in the council district?
You can roll a history check.
Great, because I'm doing great at those.
Me, you good?
Oh, I actually did. 19.
Yeah.
You recall what Benji said. If you want like hard concrete knowledge, sewer maps, odd discoveries, locations, things like that, either the Verminocitors or the Death Watch would be your best bets for that. You do know that the both organizations have been mostly destroyed, if not entirely destroyed and scattered, and members of both are in, if they survive, are in hiding.
Yeah. And where are their original headquarters?
Death Watch headquarters are in Riverside. And Verminocitors, I think. Give me a second to check my notes and if I can confirm this. But I'm pretty sure that their main area is Central Hangars, and then they have substations scattered throughout the city. Let me grab.
Not seeing Riverside. Maybe I'm nuts.
No, headquarters, Verminocitors. Yes. So they have a small compound in Central Hangars, and then, yeah, substations, one to two, in each of the other neighborhoods, except for the council district.
So where is the closest hub to where we are right now? And what time is it?
You're pushing mid to late afternoon at this point. Closest, I mean, there's one in the Cataract district that you guys are in right now.
How far to that one?
Most places in the Cataract district are within a 15 to 20-minute walk.
Great. And sorry, is this a Verminocitors station or a Death Watch?
Verminocitors. Death Watch only have the one location.
The one big one. Okay. So do you all want to try the Verminocitors? Even if we just might run into one of them and be able to ask them about their underground network.
Sure.
Of course, if it starts to be nightfall, we'll definitely be heading back to safety. Awesome.
The reason you were not seeing Riverside is because there is no Riverside. It's Lakeside. Right down. Apologies.
All good.
But there's no river in the city. What? Okay. Could somebody give me a quick D12 roll? I forgot to do that as you guys were on your way here.
I did the last one. Somebody else do it.
I'll do it.
Somebody else risk killing the party.
There you go. Was that a D12? That might not have been a D12.
That looked like a D10.
Sorry.
JD.
Ooh, JD. Use hers.
JD rolled. JD, could you now?
Oh no.
I'm just always gonna have JD roll these because she rolls high.
Gosh, but didn't you not want us to get into combat because you were going to have to run 4 NPCs?
Yes, but we're coming up on 7:30 here, but this is fine. Okay, I now need a
Fine. This is fine.
D12. Another D12 if you're JD. Okay. Go. All right. You guys approach the substation, and it really amounts to a windowless. If you built a house by taking like just a small hut-sized brick and just kind of placing it down and roughly carving a doorway into it, that's what this looks like. No windows, fully made out of stone, and a heavy, thick door blocking the doorway itself.
Can we do the NYPD thing again?
Everybody stacked up. Sure.
Yeah, and then I'll knock politely.
So you're directly in front. Okay, you knock, and something slams against the door from the inside.
I go to the side. Did it sound like animal, mineral, vegetable here? Was that in other words, was that like a trap that's been triggered? Was that a person? Is it an animal?
It sounded like something hard and solid with a lot of mass behind it.
If I lean back over and hold my ear against the door, do I hear anything?
Yeah, roll a perception check.
Perception. 12.
You can faintly hear people kind of calling out. You can't quite tell what they're saying, but there are definitely human voices, raised human voices inside.
Okay. Well, at least human and not spider. So I will gesture to everybody else to like hunker down so that if someone comes to the door, it looks like it's just me.
Okay.
And I'll knock again.
You knock again.
But I'll be ready the minute that if the door breaks in to like jump to the side. Can I like hold an action to do that?
Sure.
Like I'm expecting the door to smash in.
So you can hold an action and use it as movement. So basically the options for holding an action are, well, I want to hold an action to like fire a crossbow, or I want to hold an action to move half my movement.
Cool.
So yeah, well,
so I'm going to hold an action to like step out of the way if, anything comes to the door.
Okay. Another slam against the door, and it shudders, but it's built solidly.
There are no windows. There's no other way to look in.
No, it is completely windowless.
Can I lean my ear against it again and see if that's
same things. At this point, there's now like there's a lot of sound of movement and like crashing of metal. And so you can still hear those raised voices, but can't quite make out what they're saying.
Okay, then I'm just gonna lean my back against, the doors here, and I'm to the side, and lean my back against it and just wait.
Okay.
Something's gonna come out.
You wait a minute, 2 minutes.
Can I be listening the whole time? Are the voices dying down? Are they?
After a couple of minutes, so they're slamming on the door for a little bit, then some silence, a couple more impacts on the inside of the door. A couple of minutes pass, silence. Not silence. You can kind of hear the voices that eventually start to fade, and now there is silence. It's been maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
Can I see? Is there a keyhole that I can look through? Can I look under the door? Is there light in there?
There is a keyhole. However, it is rather fine. It does not match the building. The keyhole on this door is actually quite intricate and looks like it would need a fine, well-crafted key as opposed to just kind of a fairly crude one that would turn a lock on like a dwelling or something like that.
Right.
So it's not large enough to see through, and the door is very well fitted in the frame. You peek under. If there was light in there, you would probably be able to see it, but you don't see any light.
I'm gonna whisper to the rest of the party. Like, what do you think is going on here? Is there something trapped in there? But there are people in there that I can hear. And I don't know. I could try and pick this lock, but I don't know if that would be smart.
Well, I'm all kinds of creeped out by this, and all the little hairs on my neck are straight on end, so I'd be okay if we just kind of left.
Yes, I rather suspect if they actually were verminositors, they would not be here at the station. They're supposed to be underground. But, Amani, what do you think?
I mean, I think that we do need allies. But also, I think that we've walked into a lot of not great situations in the past few days too. So I don't know, could we leave like a calling card or something?
There's an idea.
Paper underneath the door that says, "Hi, we would like to join you. You're welcome to bring as many people as you want to our like meeting that we're going to have." I feel like we have to set up like a big meeting, you know?
And I feel like
we have like a block party and it's like a potluck, even though like nobody has food right now, but but that kind of vibe, where everybody comes and we get together and we talk about what we're gonna do and
talk about overthrowing the government,
casual stuff like that. And we all kind of come to an agreement on something, because I feel like the problem is that everybody's very up in arms right now. But if we can kind of lay out a good plan for a lot of people, then I don't know, maybe we could get more people to join us.
Well, I do have my flyers, or I've been leaving notes throughout the whole city saying in 4 days we're all dead. So make a decision.
You should leave one of those here too.
Yeah, definitely.
If I may.
Yes.
Elmania, I love the idea. It's a wonderful idea, and it should be done. But I don't think you recognize fully what has happened to these people. They're broken. If you want people who have gone to ground for fear to expose themselves, first you have to show that you can protect them. Broken people are not going to leave their homes to come to some stranger's gathering. They need to see something first.
I mean, I guess, but we have to have a balance between, like, hey, we come in peace, and hi, we're going to break down your door because we want to talk to you. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like every time we try and do this and we come in a big bombastic way, then we get very punished for it.
I don't disagree. I don't have great solutions. I know broken people. And they will need to be dragged out of their despair.
I mean, listen, the best that I can do is sing a song out here. But the last time that happened, apparently people got really angry. So there's only so much that I can do.
Well, that's a thought. You could sing not the song, but you could sing the revolutionary song.
I did write that. That's true. I did write the most popular jingle in this world's history.
It would certainly announce our intentions to whoever's within. My trouble is, I think that this is not these are not potential allies. I think these are potential enemies in here, who have taken over this watch house. Is more what I'm concerned about.
Oh, that is the problem then. Yeah. Then, do we want to fight them now? Like, is now a good time to fight them?
I mean, it's broad daylight, and there may only be a few of them.
Can I roll? I don't even know what would be a roll. I guess it's kind of insight to be like, am I getting bad vibes? I mean, I've been in this city for a while, and there's such a thing as vibes from this situation.
Okay. What specifically? Can
There's
you?
no vibes. They're not specific. Am I getting the creepy feeling?
They are more specific than vibes.
Am I
That's why
getting?
we need an intuition roll.
Yeah. Am I getting the creepy feeling that Constantine is describing?
Yeah. If you would like to give me just a straight wisdom roll.
Cool. Yeah. In other words, the feeling that I've gotten in a dark alley when I know someone's behind me and I'm about to walk into something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wisdom. Cool.
And anybody else can as well.
Ooh, 18.
Just roll straight wisdom checks. 18.
I got a 20, dirty 20.
Nice.
Amanya, everything's great. It's great. You should start singing your song just right here, right now. You are certain Damia is wrong, and people will flock to you. Galena and Vera, something about those voices is unsettling.
Okay. I don't like
Mhm.
this.
They were definitely in distress.
In distress, as in being held captive, as in
You
other words,
know,
anger distress, or yeah.
you know that feeling you get that like echoes in your stomach when a child is like truly screaming. I was walking down the lower school hallway the other day, and some kid had just lost it. And it's that pitch. I don't know if it's a pitch or what that just like runs through you. And either you must comfort the child, leave quickly, or murderously just destroy whatever it is that is causing the child to emit that noise. You know that feeling?
Yes. I swear that's evolutionary. That's like evolutionary for adults who hear that noise.
Or
That's lizard brain.
inherent panic that you're like, I don't even have any kids, and yet I must go protect this child.
Yeah. The voices were not children, but the feeling that kind of settles in your stomach as you kind of think back and are trying to get some sort of sense of the situation is like that. What you heard, right, on reflection, you are now convinced was true human suffering.
Well,
People need to see something. Maybe we need to be the ones to help.
and you know what? And the amount of self-disgust in her tone when she says this. And I suppose we're heroes now, correct?
Oh, was that hard to get out?
Now, I could have, might have been something in my ear, but I could have just heard somebody say, "Constantine, break the door down."
Huh.
Constantine, your hearing, as always, is impeccable.
Excellent.
I just want to reach up and pat him on the arm.
Yeah.
Go for
I
it,
reach up
buddy.
as far as I can go, which is probably like the back of the knee or like the hip.
Stand back if you would. No, a little further.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is a 16 plus.
Our boy.
That's a 24.
Yeah, boy.
He slams into it and it splinters a little bit, steps back and goes, all right, this one takes 2, and kicks it in, and the lock just rips out of the side of the door, and it swings in and slams against the wall. The light from the late afternoon sun shines straight in. You see what look like it's imagine like a monk's cell, right? It's not a prison cell, but it is bare bones, Spartan, small, very small cot, and then like tipped over and smashed is a large wooden cabinet that is spilling out all kinds of blades, rope, equipment. You see distinctive. Just had it. There it is. Clubs, ropes, nets, bolas, chain armor, packets of tightly wrapped rations, all just like spilling out onto the floor. And the stone walls are scored like somebody took like a pickaxe and started just hacked at it in places. And in the floor, cobblestones and dirt have just been like ripped up and piled in places. And there is a tunnel about 3 feet in diameter that just kind of descends into the ground.
All right. And there's nothing else. I mean, this is the whole room and it's straight down.
Yeah, it is seriously about 4 or 5 feet wide and about 8 feet deep. It's real small, and then that's the room. Sorry, and then that tunnel just descends out of sight.
I'll just look at everybody and go, I think we're going down this tunnel. I know I am. Is anybody else coming with me?
You know, Ma, wherever you go at this point, I'm pretty sure the rest of us just kind of have to.
I'm a terrible moral guide, but I'll take it.
I don't think I'm gonna fit.
Then okay, you get the bouncer back here. You get to beat up anybody who comes to try and jump into the hole.
I like that plan. I will happily do that.
Hell yeah.
Wait, it's 3 feet in diameter.
You get the sense that he could fit, but also he fights with a warhammer.
True.
He really just doesn't want to go down there.
Sweet boy, he can stay and guard us with his plate armor above.
I mean, it's the most reasonable reaction. It's about the reaction I think I would have. It's just like, I'm not I'll go find the sewers and like walk around and like look for where I'm not going down that tunnel.
Vera doesn't want to, but she's a self-proclaimed hero now, so she will.
Okay. Are we going down the tunnel?
Going down the tunnel. Sneakily.
Sneakily. I will sneakily crawl down the tunnel. All right.
Yes.
We will open up there next time. It is 7:30. Apologies for another short episode. We are all exhausted and pretty tapped today, and some people have to go. So, cool. We're gonna end there. We'll pick up next time with you guys being heroes and descending
Big
down
damn heroes.
this tunnel. Yep, big damn heroes.
Big damn
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope to see you again next week when it sounds like we're going to be back in the studio, which is just absurd and amazing. What is that even like? We've been online longer than we were in the studio.
I can't
I've
believe
never
this.
been in the studio.
We're gonna introduce Jenny to the studio.
I'm genuinely mostly excited that when Grace asks questions about maps, I can like point instead of just try and describe. And yeah, it's gonna be wonderful. And I'll have minis. It's gonna be great. Anyway, next week, hope to see you. Great. Cool. Things, announcements, sponsors. We are so excited to return to gaming at the studio and in our community. We're very grateful to do so with the support of our local game store, Petrie's Family Games. Local for you as well, if you live in Colorado Springs. You'll soon be able to see some of the amazing merchandise that you can pick up here on screen. We encourage you to visit them if you are in the area and to support your local game store wherever you are. If you don't have a local store, visit their web store today. I'm assuming that theirs is Petrie's. Look them up. They're great. Other things. It's the same. Man, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, right. The standard thing. Becca and crew are playing Call of Cthulhu at 6:30. You're almost there. At 6:30 on Mondays. Call of Cthulhu Horror on the Orient Express. Invite, follow, subscribe to our Twitch and YouTube channels. We have a website, iconicproduction.wordpress.com, where you can find all of our social media information, our other podcasts, including other actual play stuff, and you can support us there on Patreon, which is awesome. We also have a Redbubble store that is often updated with new things. Every time we get 10 people watching our stream, we add new stuff to it. So go to Redbubble and search Iconic Product. And check out my friend's YouTube channel, The Modular DM, where he makes everything from dungeons to taverns that fit into just about any campaign setting. He does the hard work so that you don't have to, and then he invites you to steal it. So thank you all so much for your support. Until next week, stay happy, healthy, and safe, and just have, you know, a lovely evening and week and general lifetime. I wish all of these things for you. Good night.